Have you ever felt so overwhelmed by your memories that you wished you could erase them from your mind, like stubborn stains on an old garment? I have, and it's that feeling that led me to discover a chilling story, one that will make you question the price of oblivion and the burden we are willing to bear for it. Let me tell you about the Laundry of Oblivion, a place I found by chance, or perhaps destiny guided me there, in a forgotten corner of the city, where dreams are washed with tears and dried in the sun of hope. My name is Sophia, and I am a story seeker, a collector of tales that hide in the folds of everyday life. My work has taken me to unusual places to meet extraordinary people, but no experience compares to what I lived in the Laundry of Oblivion. I was researching the lives of immigrants on the border, looking for stories worth telling. I was staying in a humble neighborhood where every house breathed broken dreams, and every face reflected the struggle for a better future. It was there that I first heard about Elena, the owner of the laundry, a mysterious woman about whom strange things were said. Some whispered that Elena had a gift, the ability to clean not only clothes, but also the painful memories that clung to them. Others considered her a witch, a sorceress who played with dark forces. The truth is that Elena was an undocumented immigrant, like many in the neighborhood, who had come to this country fleeing misery and violence. One day, I decided to visit the laundry. The place was small and modest, with peeling walls and old washing machines that seemed to groan with each cycle. Elena greeted me with a kind smile, but her eyes reflected a deep sadness. She was a middle-aged woman, with gray hair tied in a bun, and hands hardened by hard work. I handed her an old jacket that had belonged to my father, who had passed away a few years ago. It was a garment that I kept with affection, but that also reminded me of the pain of his loss. Elena took the jacket delicately, as if she were holding a sacred object. She told me to come back the next day, and that the jacket would be ready. The next day, I returned to the laundry. The jacket was impeccable, as if time had not passed through it. But the most surprising thing was the feeling I experienced when I touched it. It was as if the weight of sadness had lightened, as if the memory of my father had become sweeter, less painful. I didn't understand what was happening. How was it possible that a simple wash could have such a profound effect on my emotions? I asked Elena about her secret, about her gift. She looked at me with an enigmatic expression and told me her story. She told me that she had discovered her ability by accident when she washed the clothes of an old woman who had lost her son in the war. The old woman had told her story through tears, and Elena had felt a deep connection with her pain. When washing the clothes, she felt as if the old woman's suffering seeped into her hands, and as if the garment absorbed her sadness. Since then, Elena had continued to wash the clothes of people who had suffered traumas, losses, injustices. Little by little, she had become a kind of therapist, a counselor who listened to her clients' stories and offered them temporary relief from their pain. The news about Elena's gift spread quickly throughout the neighborhood. Immigrants came to her in search of comfort, carrying their clothes stained with bitter memories. Mothers who had lost their children on the journey through the desert, men who had been tortured in their countries of origin, women who had been victims of domestic violence, all sought oblivion in Elena's hands. And Elena helped them all, without asking for anything in return. She washed their clothes with dedication, listened to their stories with patience, and offered them a word of encouragement. But what no one knew was that Elena's gift had a very high price. Every time she washed a garment loaded with pain, Elena absorbed that suffering into her own mind. The memories, the traumas, the nightmares of her clients became part of her own experience. At first, she could control it. She could separate her own memories from those of others. But over time, the line became increasingly blurred. Elena began to have recurring nightmares, to hear voices in her head, to see images that were not hers. She relived the traumas of her clients, feeling the fear, the anguish, the despair. Her mind was fragmenting, her sanity was fading. One day, Elena confessed to me that she was on the verge of collapse. She told me that she could no longer distinguish reality from fantasy, that the memories of others had taken over her mind. She told me that she had begun to see the possible tragic futures of every immigrant she knew, every deportation, every death, every family separation. She had become a seer of pain, a prophet of misery. I tried to help her. I took her to a hospital. I looked for psychological help, but nobody understood what was happening to her. The doctors diagnosed her with schizophrenia, prescribed medication, but nothing worked. Elena continued to suffer, continued to see the horrors that haunted her community. One day, Elena disappeared without a trace. Some say she returned to her country of origin, looking for a place where she could find peace. Others believe that she took her own life, unable to bear the weight of other people's memories. I prefer to think that she found a way to transcend her suffering, to free herself from the burden she carried on her shoulders. The laundry of oblivion was abandoned, becoming a symbol of sacrifice and madness. Every time I pass in front of it, I feel a chill run down my body. I wonder if oblivion is really a blessing, or if it is a trap that prevents us from learning from our mistakes. I wonder if it is fair that one person has to carry the pain of so many others. And I wonder what happened to Elena, if she managed to find the peace she longed for so much. Maybe, in some place in the world, there is a similar laundry, where memories are washed and suffering is relieved. Maybe, Elena's gift has passed on to another person, to another immigrant who is willing to sacrifice her own sanity for the well-being of others. But the truth is that oblivion is not the solution. The real path to healing passes through facing our traumas, through learning from our experiences, through building a better future. We cannot erase the past, but we can transform it into a source of strength and wisdom. And you, what do you think? Do you think oblivion is a viable option? Would you be willing to pay the price for erasing your painful memories? Leave me your comment. I want to know your opinion. And if you like this story, don't forget to like it, subscribe to my channel, and activate the bell so you don't miss any of my horror stories. Remember, in this channel, we explore the darkest corners of the human mind and unravel the mysteries that hide in the shadows. Until next time, but before I say goodbye, I want to invite you to reflect on the true meaning of oblivion. Is it really possible to erase the past? Or are we just burying it deep in our minds? And what happens when those buried memories resurface with more force than ever? The laundry of oblivion teaches us that oblivion can be a dangerous illusion, a way to evade reality that can have devastating consequences. So, the next time you feel the temptation to erase a painful memory, remember Elena's story and think about whether you are really willing to pay the price for oblivion. Now, yes, I say goodbye. Until next time, and may you rest if you can.